Yeah,
Yeah,
y'all
y'all
might have
might have
noticed
noticed
we're
we're
here
here
with
with
a
a
new
new
new new
new
group
group
here
here in
in
the
the
box.
box. So,
So
um,
um,
you
you
know,
know,
most
most
of
of
us
us
know
know
my
my
man.
man.
Get I
I
got a
got a
little
little
echo
echo
going.
going.
I got
I got
some
some
echo
echo
going.
going.
What is going on? Uh-oh. Was I going there? Let me do something. How's that sound? There we go. We working some of the tech.
Now y'all can hear me now. All right, I got it all corrected. We worked on some technical stuff, but that's all right. We'll get it all fixed, and as long as my guys can hear me, everybody else can hear me, we're feeling good here. We're on the block. We got my man in the building. What's up, Hamp? Hamp is coming to us live from Camp Randall. How's it feel over there, man? And we'll get into that some what as we get into the segment as well. And then my co-host for the block, who's been with me through this thick and thin, trying to get this thing off the ground, my man Darnell the Youngin. How you doing, man? Y- Yeah, we got a full rundown to get through that I'm excited about. We're gonna start out with, as my boy Fat Joe would say, today's price is not yesterday's price. We got some openings in college football, and at that point, people, fans and people, they overestimate their value sometimes in the marketplace about where we're going, and we'll talk a little bit about that. And as Hammer alluded to, we got some showdowns here in college football. Normally this game between the Badgers and Iowa will probably be like a top 15 game, but it's still has some value, but we got a whole bunch of stuff happening. We got Penn State and Ohio State going at. We got Michigan State and Michigan, and so we're gonna talk a little bit about that. And then we go in. Shakur is doing his thing on the block, and but we got a whole bunch of other things happening here on the streets that we'll talk about in the world of boxing and other things that will be part of the conversation today. So we got a pretty tight rundown going on here. We'll get into that here as we go. Fellas, I want to start out with the first one. You know, as someone who is rooted for teams and watched transition in coaching, I always believe, particularly with some of these former blue blood programs or blue blood programs as they're defined, the fans can sometimes overestimate the price. And it's pretty obvious this week when Mike Tomlin pretty much gave everybody the tumble finger about these college jobs. And it's funny when he said, "I don't think there's a booster with a big enough check," which got me thinking today's price is not yesterday's price. So obviously you think about LSU. We want to start with LSU. Darnell, why don't we start with you a little bit in terms of LSU? And it's obviously a program that's coming off a national championship a few years ago, and has some value, but it's also a place where the last two coaches who won national championships were quickly ousted, not too far. And sometimes it was other things, but it does speak to a fan base that is not always patient, or a situation always patient. Where do you put that LSU job? Who do you think is a really good fit for that? Hmm. Mm-hmm.
especially if and when this college football playoff gets expanded. I think he can build his own Gonzaga in Cincinnati. So I want him to stay there. I think he's building something great there in Cincinnati. But I don't think I have a name, one name pegged out for you. But a name that I think would work at LSU. I think Joe Brady. I think Joe Brady would be good there. If Dave Aranda would come back to LSU, that's another good name. But those are my two.
Hammer, what do you? I mean, what are your thoughts on that? I think he laid out some really good points. What are your thoughts on that?
Yeah, first of all, I wanted to say that with the Tomlin situation, I want to talk about that just before I get to this situation.
Yep.
Let's not kid ourselves. People like Carson Palmer ain't throwing around his name if it wasn't. There were discussions. I bet you there were. And also, it was histrionic the way the brother was acting. It was over the top. It really made me suspect about. I think there were talks. I think Tom was in trouble. Let's be real about it. It's not fair. It's not right. But this is America. It's not fair. It's not right. And so. I just didn't like his reaction to the question was disproportional to it, especially someone that is as strong as him. He should have brushed off the question. Just brush it off. You know what I'm saying? Don't hamp up the hype because that's all it was about. It was about how Tomlin was clowning. But getting back to the story, someone like Billy Napier would be a great fit for LSU because he's at Lafayette, Louisiana. He's an LSU guy. I mean, a Louisiana guy. But the fan base is going to hear that. I think James Franklin's going to be the next coach at LSU. That's my prediction. He's even keel. He was at Vanderbilt. He went at Vanderbilt. His brother can coach. He went at Vanderbilt. Think about that. That's like when Danny Green won at Stanford and Northwestern. He's a true CEO, and he's also a family man. Like his family stayed because one of his children is immune compromised in Florida while he's been in College Station doing his thing. So this guy, he's focused. He's a family man. Ain't gonna be no mess because he understands as a black man in America, he can't be any mess. So he's a perfect fit for that program. And like Darnell said, Les Miles and Ed Ogeron didn't go down because of football. They went down because of extracurricular activities, like they call it, aka cheating and Title IX, other things, reprehensible conduct at LSU. So you talk about Joe Brady. Joe Brady's not ready for LSU program. Not ready, bro.
I don't know.
Not ready.
Joe Brady was, if you ask me, Joe Brady was a big part of that 2019.
He's a great OC.
I'm
talking about you run a program, bro. You're running a program. You're not the OC. You're not Matt Nagy at the Bears trying to play coach and trying to play OC. I'm telling you, you have to be a CEO of a brand. LSU is a brand. Also, the fact that you talk about Tucker is a great thing. The reason why Tucker's name's in the conversation because
he's handling business.
No, that's not the other reason, bro. Listen to your elders first of all. Listen to your elders. I learn from you. You learn from me. That's how it rolls. No, they got a brother, President Tate, the brother who's head of LSU. That's one reason why he has a really good relationship with Mel Tucker, and so that's why Mel Tucker's name is on the table. But to be caring with you. I don't think Mel's ready, man. I mean, Mel's had a nice year.
But I also think he's in a better situation in a lot of ways. I mean, you can win at Michigan State and do well. You don't have to put up all the craziness that you had to put up with LSU.
That's not true. They fired D'Antoni in a second.
No, but D'Antoni was again extracurricular activities, and he won for a long time. They didn't.
D'Antoni was on the decline for a few years.
He was on the decline. He had health problems. I still said that. He ain't safe.
But Michigan State fans are not unreasonable, and you can win. Like, why jump into LSU when you don't have to?
Because you're the elite. You've been around. I mean, the best experience I had, brothers, was ATL 2019, Chick-fil-A Bowl, LSU, Oklahoma. Like I wish I had brought you. I wish we had been together in that experience. That experience was like, I mean, I'll never forget it, man. I wish we had been together as brothers down there because that was real college football, bro. And I was suited like this, and the cat said to me, like, "Are you a scout, sir? Are you?" And you know, I told him, I told him, "Sir, I'm just a football fan." So. And I'm telling you, man, I saw some of the best football. Jalen Hurts, Murray, C.D. Lamb, Stingley Jr., Jamar Chase. It was crazy.
Justin
Man.
Jefferson, Calvin Chason.
It was just crazy the talent.
Joe Burrow.
Joe Burrow. And you see, even like the thing that scared me, the thing scared me why LSU's the program do well is that I was there about 2 hours from the game like I am now. I was watching cats warm up. And even though, Brennan wasn't good, but Brennan he looked solid. He looked better than Burrow in some of the warm-ups, man. These cats, they had about 4 quarterbacks doing quarterback drills. I'm like, hey, these cats will start for their badges all day. I start for any other team in the country all day. So you got a brand. So if LSU gives you a call, you got to go.
Yeah, and I think that goes back to the Tomlin point, is that both things can be true. Rumors start just because you call my agent doesn't mean I'm interested.
Right.
And I think, I think a lot of things come off of, and a lot of calls go a lot of people that don't end up into speculation. And again, Tomlin being in trouble is a joke. He's not really in trouble, but it's a lot of people. He's not. Look, I'm as close to Steelers stuff as anybody. He's not in trouble. He's not in trouble. So if he goes
4-13, he's not in trouble.
But he's not gonna go. First of all, he ain't gonna go 4-13. And plenty of coaches. He has no losing seasons. All the other coaches you talk about have losing seasons, so he's not in trouble. Like, that's this stuff, speculation. We just got to put that out there. He has no. How can you be in trouble when you've never had a losing season?
I mean, Doug Peterson got fired, so anything happened. He's black. So
but Doug Peterson was on some other stuff. He's not even in Tomlin's league.
What is it now?
Doug Peterson's not even Tomlin's league, and he was in some old other stuff.
I'm saying
that was more instability in leadership.
There's
no instability in leadership with the Steelers. None. Like, they have 3 coaches in how many years? Like, in their existence, they don't make rational decisions over in Pittsburgh.
I agree, but I'm just saying that he better win tomorrow.
Why he got a better win? He got better win records than anybody other than Belichick.
Win tomorrow. He better beat the Browns tomorrow.
He'll be okay even with the season. He'll be okay. So that part is like, again, that's why he makes these statements, because cats out here making irrational stuff they never say about Andy Reid. And he's coached at a better rate than any of those coaches.
I agree.
Higher winning percentage. The only thing he's had to deal with is that he's coached in the same conference as the greatest coach of all time. That's like been his hardest thing to deal with. Other than that, he's done his thing. So again, that's why he stepped out, because we buy into that craziness.
Yeah.
And if he was fired, he'd have a job before they even got the F out their mouth, before they even got the first syllable out their mouth. He would take off his Steelers stuff and put on another one before he even walked out the door. Like, he would walk out and they would hand him another uniform and a hat.
Or go to the booth.
He'd probably do the press conference for the other team outside of the Steeler complex. That's how quick it would be. It'd be so quick that the Lions coach would probably get fired like instantly. Like, it'd be a text message, and then he'd get on the plane and come to Detroit.
Mike Tomlin's coming.
Regardless. The 0-7 Lions, that's another story.
We did it. All right, USC. I'll go back to you, Darnell. USC. Again, I think Hammer made some really good points about LSU in terms of what it is. USC has kind of been, everybody's been waiting, and it's today's price is not yesterday's price. There's we know how hot USC can be, but it's been struggling there in LA. What do you say about the USC job?
I say the USC job it's a sleeping giant, but at the same time, the best name for USC, in my opinion, is another name where it's the risk reward thing. Do you want to the bird in the hand is sometimes better than two in the bush, you know what I'm saying? And the best name for USC, in my opinion, is Cristobal. But if you're Mario Cristobal, what is it going to take for me to leave Oregon? Like you have it set up at Oregon. You're getting these prospects from the LA area. You got everything set up at Oregon. You got Phil Knight, and NIL is here. We got Phil Knight on our side. Like, what is it going to take for me to leave Oregon? But hey, if they open up a big enough check, I mean, maybe you have to go. But if I'm him, I stay.
Yeah, you're right. I mean, that's again, Oregon's one of those jobs that's one of these new school jobs that's got as much cachet as anything. They got a recruitment pipeline going there. They got that new school piece going. The kind of things the young folks like. They might have the number one draft pick. Playing for them right there.
And he's from LA.
You're from LA.
He's from USC's backyard.
Yeah, that's right. So, it's one of those jobs where it's like, stay where you're at, build, do your thing. Don't deal with all the headaches, that you got to do. You got to put it with LA and compete against other interests, like the Lakers and some of these other things where, people are there in parties before and everything else, unless you can get Snoop with you. You come in, you got to come through the door with Snoop and let them know what's back. What's going on. Hammer, what do you think about that USC?
It's one of the best jobs in America, and really, there's just been total mismanagement from Win Swan's mess trying to be an AD to Pat Hayden's garbage. They finally got a good AD in Mike Bone, and Clay Helton was a terrible. Comfortable with the coach. That's the package. It's going to be Luke Fickell's going to be the next coach at USC. He's got the temperament. He's a leader. And the bottom line, he's going to bring that heartland mentality to the coastal and crush those cats. And that's what he's going to do at USC. USC is an embarrassment right now. I mean, an embarrassment. There's no way with all that money, y'all should be crushing people. And they look at mediocre. And that's why K. Helton had to go. Yeah. And Scarcesian, with his alcohol, had to go. And Lou Fickell is, I'm telling you, one of the best coaches in America. And they're gonna come after Luke, and Luke's gonna be like, bet.
Yeah, USC is one of those jobs you just gotta look out the window. Literally, that's what they used to do. Look out the window.
Look out the window. And let me expand on that. Let me expand on that. If you're talking about look out the window, you got C.J. Stroud, quarterback of Ohio State. You have Bryce Young, quarterback of Alabama. And DJ, I know he's underperforming, but quarterback at Clemson. All these guys played high school football within 30 miles of USC.
Yeah,
and they play elsewhere.
Yes.
Yeah, and that tells you how raggedy Clay Helton was. Why Helton's at home watching the games with us now, because there's no excuse for a DJ Ugalele or
Bryce Young.
Come out of your backyard. USC is a powerhouse, man, and they need leadership there. And Clay Helton is a weak leader. That's why he's gone. Look, Clay Helton is an OC. He's not a head coach. He's not a leader of men. He's a designer of plays, and even he ain't that good at that. So bottom line is that get me a leader like Lou Fickell, who came into Cincinnati and put them on the ain't about Gonzaga, because it's different in hoops, man. Because in hoops you got cats one and done. In football, you got those cats for at least 3 years. And so the bottom line is that the cream of the crop is going to always rise to the top, as we say in the hood. And so Cincinnati's not going to be as good as you want. I mean, Tommy Tuberville was there for a reason for a little hot minute. It's a good job, but it ain't USC. And I'm telling you, my man Fickell, he going to USC because Ryan Day ain't going nowhere. He want to go to OSU. Ryan Day ain't going nowhere. He turned down a Michigan State job flat. He's going to USC, man. That's an AD. That's the AD that hired him and gave him a shot to get on the bench. That's the guy that put him in the cut. So they're going to get together. They got chemistry. And the bottom line is there's no excuse for USC to be this way, man. USC should be a power. Pete Carroll came in there and cleaned. They cheated, don't get me wrong, but they came in and cleaned house.
Everybody was cheating in his defense. Everybody was cheating.
Everybody was doing it. And what we find out is
they were dumb enough to get caught. They were dumb enough to get caught. They were dumb enough to get caught. So yeah.
What we find out now is name and likeness would have put them in a totally different position.
But going back to my Gonzaga point, when I'm talking about Gonzaga, I'm saying the way college football is currently constructed, with the four teams that get in the college football playoff, and even before that, when Pete Carroll was there, when you only had the two teams under the BCS model, a team like Cincinnati, a team from a non-Power 5 conference, they had no chance. They had no chance of even making it. You can win every game, and you'd still be in the football's version of the NIT. You know what I'm saying? You were never going to be able to play for in the big dance. But if we ever get this we're going to get expansion. But if they do expand it to like 12 teams, something like that, where a team like Cincinnati, a team like Coastal Carolina, a team like these group of 5 teams, if they go undefeated, they'll have a chance to play against the Alabamas of the world.
Play against 4 years down the road, though, bro. We know about with COVID, this pandemic, life is fleeting. That's why 50% of people are looking for. I ain't looking for a new job. I love my job, but that's why 50% of people in this country are looking for a new job right now, because they understand that life is fleeting, life is short, and so you can't wait around for the thing that might happen. The thing that's happening right now is USC is going to be. At the end of the season, if not now, talk to Lou Fickle like, we want you. You're our leader for the future. You're going to bring heartland values to the coastland, and we'll come in and crush the Pac-10. And so that's what they're going to do. And so you can wait for 4 or 5 years. It's still not going to matter. Cincinnati is still going to be a good, very good program. It's not going to be a USC. It's not going to be LSU. It's not going to be OSU. It's going to be a good program where cats who wanted to go to OSU couldn't get in. Cats who wanted to go to Michigan State couldn't get in. And, Lou Fickle is going to he's a young guy. He's going to make the right decision. The right decision for him to go to USC with Mike Bone and turn that program around and make it be what it should be, which is a powerhouse. Not this craziness that's going on, mediocrity that's going on with Lane Kiffin and Scarsezian and Helton. Just stop that mess. Get a real coach.
But I will say this: the point that I would probably put in that, and that's why I think probably the Zag reference works really good with an Oregon reference, meaning that are you really getting much more, and you can really hold things down. But I do think Cincinnati is one of those few teams that they have a tradition of consistently getting high level athletes to come play there. They have a really good place to Ohio as a place for recruitment is still good. And they can create the out of conference matchups that, because everybody thinks you need to go to a conference, and there's a lot of benefits because of the money and everything else, but you can also create the buzz through your matchups. And they still manage to get these really good matchups, whether it's they get a chance to play Notre Dame, whether there's some real good like Midwest matchups.
Yeah, they usually play Ohio State. They don't play
Ohio State, but they can manage those because of their fan base and the way to create buzz around it. They have the ability to create those kind of matchups, and in fact, can actually compete in those matchups, right? And so if you have that, there is something to it. If you don't want to deal with all the craziness. With everything you said, that I think is right on, Hammer. But if you don't want to deal with all the craziness, because I think also people are realizing right now is you also don't have to deal with all the craziness.
Yeah.
Like I think that's stuff people also are accepting. Is like I ain't really trying to deal with all the drama either. Life is short.
That's true.
Right?
You gotta go get yours. In my opinion, you gotta get yours too. You gotta go get yours. But
and you still can get yours.
Yeah.
No, not Cincinnati. I mean, look at Butch Jones was there. Butch Jones was there. Brian Kelly was there. D'Antoni was there. It's a stopping ground. Marcus Freeman was there.
But it also means you always win.
It's a different world.
But it also means you always win for you to be able to do it. Like for them to be successful, they've been consistently winning.
But you ain't gonna win the chip though.
Well, I think it's moving to an environment where you can. Go ahead, Youngin.
I'll say, but back when Brian Kelly was there, you didn't have the opportunity to even compete for the championship. Because you can go undefeated and then still
4 years down the road, bro.
Still,
4 years.
You end up playing Oklahoma in the Tostitos Bowl. You know what I'm saying? If you go undefeated, but I think it's a different landscape now.
Yeah, if he competes this year, and gets into the semifinals, because all he got to do is run the table. He's in. He's
I
in
This
did.
year.
I did.
this year. He's
Yeah,
in.
I agree.
Right?
He's in this year.
So if he competes well this year. It don't matter what is coming. If they keep winning next year, they come with a brand.
He's gonna get stomped.
Yeah.
He's gonna get stomped.
But that's what you're saying. I don't think.
I said, how do you know?
I have not seen
How do
a
you
Luke Fickell
know?
team get stomped.
Talent, man. The talent.
I've not seen.
Wait a minute. You talking about the talent? You talking about the talent? They played Georgia last year.
Yes.
They didn't get stopped
And they
against Georgia.
lost.
Yes.
They did not. They lost by like a field goal in the last minute of the game.
Yes.
That's not getting stopped.
That's not getting stomped.
That's not getting stopped.
They don't have Marcus Freeman now. So they got. I don't know who their DC is now. He ain't that cat.
But they winning. But whoever they got, they winning.
Yeah, exactly.
Have you ever seen? I've not seen a Luke Fickell team get stomped.
I agree,
Yeah.
but
I got to see it happen.
I
gotta see it happen.
Hey, let me say this: if Oklahoma, if they somehow went up because they and they end up playing Cincinnati, you think Oklahoma's going to blow Cincinnati out?
Yeah, I think they got better talent.
Oh, you gotta be crazy.
I think they got better
Come on,
talent.
Hammer.
I got.
John must be doing something. I got you right looking down over that field. You feeling yourself.
What's the line? What's the? I bet you. They win the table. I bet you the line will be.
Our great friends up there in Wisconsin.
I'm telling you, they didn't recruit.
If that game happens
in Cincinnati,
if that happens,
tell me, come on, man.
I got a band on Cincinnati.
Yeah,
I'm betting
we'll get.
I will a big time. I mean, you got both of us on that one.
I'll get you some
Give
Harold's.
us the points. Give us the points.
What's the best food in Ypsilanti?
Oh, Ypsilanti.
Yeah.
You got to go. You got to go to Detroit. I was
Okay. I get a Harold's chicken meal against whatever food you got in Detroit, Ypsilanti. That if Oklahoma, I'll put it away. That Cincinnati will lose in the semifinals. I'll put it that way. I'll put that as a wrap.
If they play Alabama, I mean, well, they could. They
could
beat Alabama.
2 touchdowns. That's a wrap. I'll put a Cheryl's chicken dinner on that for Chi-Town, the best chicken in the world, from the best city in the world.
All right. Let's move to the showdowns. We got to make sure because y'all gonna be. I know we're gonna be hearing stuff wrapping up over there at Camp Randall here pretty quick. We got a lot of good showdowns coming on here today in terms of football. Obviously, we got Michigan and Michigan State happening up there at East Lansing. This is definitely going to decide and make me go and see who might be there at the end for the for the championship run. Start with you, Young, and then come back over to you, Hammer. What are the keys you think for either the Wolverines and State to get this today? What will tell you which team is looking towards like that they're going to win based on what you might see early in the game? You got me, Darnell?
You're going to be first. I thought I heard Hammer. My bad.
Go ahead.
But I think this game is going to be a field position game. This game is going to be a real tight one. I think this game is going to be a game where it's going to be separated by 1 or 2 plays, just like those bounce of the ball type plays. So I really don't know which way to go. I think I'll go Michigan by like a touchdown, maybe. Both teams. I think everybody's talking about Michigan State. They have more explosive offense. They have ability to make more explosive plays, but in my opinion, they just haven't played anybody. Like explosive plays against who? Like against Akron or something like that. Like when they stepped up.
About Akron, my guy, maybe Akron. Don't talk about Akron.
I'm sorry.
Don't go there.
But when they stepped up,
Akron. Don't go there.
But when they stepped up against Indiana, which Indiana's not that, they're not that level, or Nebraska, who also is not at that level, they're not hitting on those explosive plays at the same rate. The offense doesn't look as good, and I think Michigan has a good enough defense to hold them to like I think it's going to be like a 17-14, a 21-17 type game. It's not going to be a shootout, in my opinion, because the key for Michigan is defensively is, of course, take away the deep ball. And in the running game, you got to play gap responsible defense because the way Kenneth Walker gets loose is he loves the cutback lane. Like they run a lot of zone runs, and he has very good vision. Like he'll find the crack, and if you're not playing discipline, he'll break one on you. But on the offensive end, they gotta just keep just like every week they gotta establish the run and hit on the play actions off of the running game. But as far as Michigan State has to the same thing as Michigan. I mean, they gotta establish the run game, and as soon as they can establish the run, they're gonna have to throw off of that. And I think their receiver is gonna have the advantage over the Michigan's DBs. But if they don't establish the run, I don't think they can throw the ball consistently, in my opinion.
All right, Hammer, what are your thoughts on that game?
Well, I love arguing Darnell, but also I just think Michigan State's gonna win this game, and because of Kenneth Walker, that's the key. I don't think they can stop Kenneth Walker. Kenneth Walker's gonna control the game. That's gonna be the key. And so you tire down that defense of Michigan, and then you're right. They haven't done explosive plays against some of the other schools, but when you wear down a team, then that's when the explosive plays can come. And like I said, I'm gonna put a plug in Tuck We Trust. Hey, that's what I'm about. I don't trust Harbaugh. He's on the can't trust his list as far as winning big games.
He definitely is.
And especially we agree on some, especially in East Lansing. And so Tuck's going to beat him, man. I truly think that Kenneth Walker, I don't know what Wake Forest is thinking, but this cat, Kenneth Walker's balling. And so I don't trust Harbaugh in the big games right now. I mean, I just don't trust him, and especially in East Lansing, especially that hostile environment. Michigan's favored, so what? So the bottom line is that, again, Kenneth Walker, nice play action, as Dan talked about. But the key is wearing down Michigan's defense so you can get the big play. That's what Tucker's trying to do with them. That's what he's going to do. He's going to hammer them with Kenneth Walker and then be able to get that play, one play action play. And Darnell's right, it's going to be a close game. One play action, one big play that Michigan can do is going to win this game for them at Michigan State. And that's what Michigan State is going to win. And Tuck's going to keep on rolling and, might be rolling his way out of town to Baton Rouge.
So on this one, one of the things I sent the text to my boss when Michigan played Wisconsin, and it was on the first drive, and I said, today we got Stanford Jim. And I've been watching that since the beginning of the season. And so, but what I think it's going to come down, this, and a lot of that has to do with a picture they got up here of Mike Hart being a running back coach. I mean, that I think has made a significant difference in how their running backs are running and how they're attacking the game. The key will be what they do in the passing game. And they got playmakers out there, but it's going to come down to their ability to really balance out the offense. Corum and Haskins, they're killing it. I mean, they show up here. Corum's averaging 6.3 yards per carry, and then Haskins is 4.9. So there's good running backs in this game all the way around. So I don't think so it's going to come down to who can make some advancements in the passing game and make those plays when they need to. Is going to be great, and Michigan's defense, the number 2 defense in the country. So they've been doing some things, but the offense has got to help them on the road. So I think it's going to be, I agree with you, Darn. I think this is going to be a close game. It's going to come down. It's going to be a traditional Michigan game. It's going to come down to a field goal. It's going to come down to the last minute. People are going to be, for that Paul Bunyan trophy, but the people are going to be sweating. There's going to be a lot of sweaty palms down the stretch to look at.
Yeah, and Blake Corum is one of the most explosive black backs in college football. It's him and Travion Henderson, in my opinion, as far as the most explosive backs. Kenneth Walker, he's a great back, but he's not. He doesn't have the same burst as those two, though. Kenneth Walker has great vision, has great footwork. Yeah. But as far as explosion, it's Corum and Travion Henderson. But Michigan, they're gonna have to hit on some passing plays, but they can't fall in love with it. Yeah. If they fall in love with the passing game, I think that's gonna do them in.
Yeah. But they got to be able to hit. At some point, one of these quarterbacks gonna have to make a play because it comes down to that. And in games like this, they're going to. It might be 2 plays, but one of them going to make a play. And And if you think just your running game is going to win it in a game like this, you're in trouble. They're going to make one or two plays. There's going to be a play that's going to be
Your running games are
depending on
set
them
up.
doing it.
Your running games are set up.
Yeah,
Your
but they
running
got to
games
be able to
set
hit
up.
them. It's one thing that you're there in Wisconsin.
You don't establish a run though. You can't hit them though, bro. That's what I'm saying.
Right, but
both these teams have established a run. And they'll commit to the run.
They have, but at the same time, if Michigan State goes in this game and they can't run the football, they're in trouble.
Oh yeah, they're in trouble.
That's what.
Yeah. Whereas Michigan's got many more options if the running game becomes a little bit tougher, which I don't think it's going to. But a quarterback will have to make a play. They're not going to get through this game without them making a play. They're going to have to make a play in a game like this. And being able to make a play in a game like this is going to help them in the next couple of games they're going to have, where they, we got Penn State, Ohio State. I mean, as stuff ramps up, these quarterbacks are going to have to make more plays as competition ramps up, and so that's going to be something that we look at. We got Penn State and Ohio State. So I quite didn't have Ellen, but we got to talk about Hammer. We got Penn State, Ohio State tonight. It kind of been softened a little bit because Penn State took that little bump and that hiccup. We thought these two teams would be undefeated when they faced each other, but I think you'll see the best from both squads in that game. What do you think about Penn State and Ohio State?
I like Penn State in the game, man. I like Franklin. They had one hiccup against Iowa, but yeah, the bottom line is that that happens in college football, man. I mean, Bama had a hiccup, so it just happens. I mean, they got great talent, and that's why we play the game, right? That's the bottom line. So I think I got Penn State in this one. I just think that Ohio State, Trevor Henderson's great back, like Darnell said, but I just haven't been impressed with their level and of talent this year compared to other years, and we'll see. Yeah, I mean, C.J. Stroud's a nice player, but they don't excite me like the other teams did with Ryan Day, and the talent's just not there for me to be confident they're going to win that game again.
It's in the shoe, right?
We got James Franklin winning the shoe. So
okay, yeah, all right, Youngin, what do you think? What do you got over there?
I got Ohio State by murder. But I think Penn State gonna put up a fight in the first couple quarters, but Ohio State's gonna separate themselves. I mean, they're hitting their stride right now. Their defense is playing a lot better. Kerry Combs not calling the plays anymore. Matt Barnes is calling the plays. They got some big time recruits in there. They better show up for them. They got Jaden Davis. They got Sonny Style. They got plenty of dudes in there. They better impress them. But yeah, I think Penn State had the classic trap game last week against Illinois.
But Illinois, yep.
I think Ohio State is going up and Penn State is going down. And it's not a good recipe.
Yeah, the Illinois game was aberration last week. I truly think
I told you to put some respect on Bielema's name. I told you.
I'm saying it can be an aberration, but it's still what I said still stands. Like Ohio State's starting to catch their rhythm, and like you said earlier with the talent thing, Ohio State has a lot of talent on their roster, especially on the offensive side of the ball. The defensive side is starting to click. They're starting to find the guys that they should be playing. The rotations are starting to set in, but I don't think it's going to be good for Franklin. Even though Franklin, he's auditioning for that LSU job, but it might. It might
and
not
USC, both of them.
All right.
He changed agents. So
Youngin. We're gonna switch a little bit here. We got Georgia against Florida going here. Georgia's been choking people out in a different way. I mean, their defense has just been like, okay, we're gonna put you in a figure four leg lock, and we ain't letting you up. I mean, it feels like they what's the AEW? What's the new coming down there on Turner? Whatever they coming off the top rope on folks. But they're one of those squads. Not quite on the can't trust it list, but when they get to the big moment when you feel like they gotta get this, Georgia
is the Michigan of the South. Georgia is the Michigan of the South. Like,
yes, thank you.
They run into Alabama like Michigan runs into Ohio State. It is what it is. Sometimes they lose to Florida. Sometimes they lose to Florida just like Michigan lose to Michigan State. But it just happens. I mean, it is what it is. But it is what it is.
Playing field. Florida's gonna kill Florida today. I dare you disrespect
the thing about Florida is Dan Mullen did this last year too. Mullen did this last year. They it seemed like they when they played LSU, it seemed like they was prepping for Alabama because they sat Kyle Pitts. I remember that they sat Kyle Pitts in that game last year, and they're just they're looking ahead, and I think they're doing this. They did the same thing this year, which I don't know why, but they was looking ahead to Georgia, and I think they're going to put up a little more of a fight than we expect. But at the end of the day, I got Georgia because the way Georgia's playing, I mean, they're playing classic old school football, the football I grew up on. Like back when Kirby was at Alabama, when they had Courtney Upshaw, Dante Hightower, Drake Kirkpatrick, Mark Barron, that was my squad. But
that was a squad, bro. That was a squad. That was illegal, really. I mean, how much talent they had. In real time, man, you had all those cats. First round. I was like looking at like this is unfair. I mean, Terrence Cody. I'm like that second round. These cats. But Georgia's gonna kill him.
Yeah. Georgia, you got Georgia hammer.
I like Mullen a lot. He's a really good coach, but dude, Georgia gonna whoop him, especially with that defense. It's amazing. But again, don't disrespect Georgia like that. I know you don't go to the South much because you said mess down South, man.
They're the Michigan of the South.
They are. They are. They got a lot of accolades. They like the Michigan under Bo. Bo won a couple signature games, but he ain't win no national championship. And I grew up on Bo.
I think Kirby can win a national championship eventually.
Right. Yeah. But Kirby got that disease. He get there and you like, how did they lose? Like they played so well. I almost feel like they got a national championship. They did. Alabama took it away. It was just like it's like you just feel.
Until 2 weeks ago, Saban beat all of his assistant coaches, right? Until Jimbo beat him. So
But Jimbo already had a chip. Jimbo left for chips to go get another chip. You know what I'm saying? So Jimbo was walking with the big dogs. He didn't walk on there like he was less than equal.
He got a $96 million buyout for a reason. I mean, Jimbo's a great coach, but the bottom line is that they ain't better than Bama, and they beat Bama. So.
All right, we got Ole Miss and Auburn, I believe, on the a hammer with the Ole Miss and Auburn. Boy, we had a Heisman Trophy candidate over there, sitting over there in Ole Miss, doing the stuff.
Matt Corral.
Corral.
Yeah, I like the fact I like Ole Miss in this game. I think that Corral's really their defense is much improved. Ole Miss, and I don't trust Bo Nix. I don't trust Bo Nix at all.
No, I don't either.
Yeah, and so I think Kevin's auditioning for these jobs too. He's a sleeper for LSU, a deep sleeper for LSU. And so I think definitely, I like Ole Miss. I like Matt Corral. I like the fact that again, Kiffin's impressed me in his comeback from disgrace at USC. He's improved the defense. He understands opportunity areas. He's really coached. I'm very impressed with how he's coached forehead leg. And he learned a lot from Nick Saban. You can just tell by how he's running the program. He's just much more disciplined, much more strategic, and like I said, Matt Corral's balling. So I like them against. And Bo Nix is on the can't trust list, top of the can't trust list in college football. He's 1A. So again, I just don't trust him. Period.
All right, yo, what you got to say about that game?
I got Auburn. I like the way they've been playing.
He just want to argue with me, but it's all good though because we had the recap. We had the recap on either Tuesday or next. He gonna be like my man Andrew Thomas. He be like, "Yeah, Carl, you're right." But I love the fact he's when he's wrong, he's humble about it. When I'm wrong, I'm humble too. I'll just be like, "Yeah," but look forward to it. We probably go 50-50 anyway. That's how college football is.
Yeah, Auburn's. I like the way they've been playing under the new coach. They're a very physical team, and Ole Miss ran into trouble against Alabama when they played against when Alabama got physical with them. Well, I know Alabama is a different level than Auburn, but it's the level of physicality. I think Auburn could take this one.
Yeah, you're right now. You're listening to the block, and you're getting a little taste of what you would get if you checked us out on our other podcast, One Mic on Real Sports Guys platform, please go to realsportsguy.com and check out Wrestler. You'll see these guys bantering on another level. And that one, it's good to have Hammer here live for us.
Tell people one thing though,
yeah.
I ain't drunk or high or nothing like that. I got my sunglasses on because I'm protecting my vision. My family got glaucoma in the family, so I'm protecting my vision. I want people know. I want no rumors out there, like they have with Tomlin. I want no rumors out there. I said right now, my eyes ain't good. My eyes are nice, like I said before, but I got to protect these eyes. You know what I'm saying? So that's why I got the sunglasses on.
The son's over there. He's live. He's live from Camp Randall there.
I went out last night partying with Ed Ogeron or Les Miles or nothing like that. I wasn't doing that. I went to bed early. Got me some rest so I could come here and perform. For One Block and RSG and represent. I come up here stumbling and mumbling. Yeah. So
it's good to have us. So he live from Camp Randall. But this game would normally we got Wisconsin against Iowa. This game would normally be a top 15 matchup in a lot of different ways. Wisconsin getting a victory against Purdue and coming his homecoming weekend. I was around there. There's a lot of buzz, a lot of nervousness. Hoping this is a game that can right the ship for Wisconsin for a season that's been tough. And then Iowa, who we said a couple weeks ago when they were with a top ranked team, we were like we weren't trusting that. Ferentz usually settles down somewhere with 3 losses somewhere along the line. We still try to figure out how he got it, but this could be one of those reasons. This is a dangerous game for Iowa there in Camp Randall. As you start to you're beginning to see Wisconsin get something going on with their running game. You got young Braylon over there, 17-year-old running back, Zero, who is like a load that they're beginning to get some touches with that. Wisconsin's trying to right that defense. Leonard is doing his thing. They're trying to find it. So we got Wisconsin and Iowa there in Madison. Hammer, I'll let you go last since you're there in Madison. As we end this segment, I'll start with the youngin, and then we'll come back over to you.
Man, I don't know who's going to win this game.
Yeah,
both offenses are terrible. I mean, the defenses, they're stout. Iowa, I'd say Iowa probably has a little bit of a better defense than Wisconsin, but at the same time, it's like in boxing. The team with the fighter with the most power is the fighter that can take the other person's punch the best, right? So the best offense in the game is the offense that can muster up some points on the other team's defense. But I know Hammer's gonna go Wisconsin, so I'm gonna go Iowa. But it's a pick 'em for me.
Okay.
Wisconsin all day. I mean, Kurt Ferentz can't win a big game. Also, I think this is the game where Graham Mertz is going to wake up out of the COVID, long COVID, and ball. So we got the running games going tonight, but the player of the game, this game going to be, and check this out afterwards. Leo Chanel going to be the player of the game. That dude is a wrecking ball. He's going to tear up Goodson, all that. He's the key to this game. Tremendous talent. The all linebacker. On the national stage, he didn't play the first couple games this year, so he's going to be the key to this game. Is really going to set the tempo. But the bottom line is that I look across and I see Kirk Ferentz. I'm confident I'm going to win a big game. I'm confident I'm going to win a big game, and so I think that again, you're going to lie. I'm a little bit of a homer by law, but I know Wisconsin's offense. I mean, their passing game has been reprehensible this year. But I think finally, Mertz got to show up. He's showing some flashes, but I mean, a week ago, dude threw 5 touchdown passes. Where's that Graham Mertz? I think some of that, if we get 50% of that, Bat is going to win big. I think Bat is, and right now I was walking the stadium. It's hype in Madison. It's Mad City. It's on. This is the only game in town. Everybody's around here from the state of Wisconsin, not Madison, the state of Wisconsin. The alums from Illinois like myself. We coming here. The energy is going to be just unbelievable. It's going to be just just tremendous as far as just intoxicating the energy and the jump around and the student section. We talked about 95% vaccinated. I gotta give the young men and women credit. They're doing their thing, and it ain't that they're sick, but we gonna bring it. And like I said, you can feel right now they're playing the great music right now. The Billie Eilish, the Migos, they're doing their like little their nice playlists. I call it culturally diverse playlists to make sure we're cultivating everybody here of all different backgrounds. It's like a playlist that I would like to hear, because it inspires everybody. It gives everybody a little food to eat, so we can all be satiated, and we're gonna bring it. Kurt Ferentz is a joke, like I said before. 20 years of good. That's all he's been. Not great, of good. And he's not of good. That's a good Kurt Ferentz. That's what he is. Good. He ain't great. Good. And you're right. He got 3 L's every year, so he gonna get an L today. We're gonna run him out the stadium. They're gonna get back on 90. Get back on 80. Get back on 80. Get back to Iowa. Get back to Iowa.
All right, here we go. Well, we're gonna let you get back to what you've been doing, and Darnell and I are gonna close the show out. I will check in with you, next week, follow the game, man. But enjoy your time there. That's my man, the Hammer. Co-host here on one mic.
RSG.
Yeah, you go, man. Enjoy. Hit us up on social media. Give us some updates. Let us know what's going on, brother, and we'll see you on the other side.
God bless y'all.
Peace out. All right, man. That was my man Hammer there doing his thing with us here on the block. I apologize for any technical difficulties. We still trying to learn how to now. I'm still trying to learn how to be in the DJ chair, the operations chair for the stuff. But it's been good to have it going. In our final segment, it's the word on the block. There's a lot going on, and as we pivot to that, and this actually Hammer brought it. We're going to talk about it on one mic, but Shakur Stevenson, man, sent a message, and I've been waiting to talk to you, Darnell, about it because there was a lot of hype about it. Felt like he had made this pivot in terms of trying to be this much more aggressive personality, this heel. It was almost like when Hammer, the MC Hammer, tried to come out with a real hard album, and we're like, we know this is not Hammer. This is Hammer. Can't this is we listen to Hammer jiggling and dancing and everything else. Now you wearing a cap. You got to you trying to look like you hanging out with NWA and everything. It just didn't feel right, for a lot of folks. And so Shakir was that smiling guy, real nice, had a little edge to him, but he really pushed it hard in this one. But when he got in the ring, he backed it up. What did you learn from when you watched that fight with Shakir?
Well, I have two pound for pound lists, and the second pound for pound. Well, I have one that has the resume guys, the guys that deserve it, the guys that deserve to be recognized as the top guys in the sport. My second list is who I actually believe, regardless of weight class, are the best fighters. And Shakur is on that second list. I don't care what anybody say. Shakur Stevenson is one of the top 5 fighters in the whole sport, regardless of what weight class they're in, regardless of who they fought. If everybody was the same size, Shakur Stevenson is beating 99% of everybody in the sport. Shakur Stevenson, he's that good. Like he's that good of a boxer. I mean, it was on display last week, and Shakur's the man. I mean, but it's getting to the point. It's getting to that point with who wants to fight him, like especially at his division. I mean, Valdez, he's trying to stay away as far as he can, as long as he can. I mean, they was together at they was both at 126 at the same time. Valdez was the champion. I think it was the WBC champ. No, not WBC. No, Gary Russell been the WBC champion since I was in high school almost. But Valdez was he had one of the belts at 126, And Shakur became his mandatory. And as soon as Shakur became his mandatory, he dropped the belt and he moved up. And literally, I have the screenshots. It was the next week, literally the next week after he became his mandatory, he moved up and he dropped his belt. And now that Shakur, he's calling his name. Shakur is calling him out. He going to every single fight that Valdez has. He's there. He's stalking him. And Valdez, he don't want to fight. I mean, at first, before Jamel, Valdez saying, "Okay, I want to fight Jamel Herring. He has a belt. You know what I'm saying? I want to fight Jamel." And then Shakur, as soon as Valdez fights somebody else, Shakur's like, "Okay, I'm gonna fight Jamel." And then when he beats Jamel, and now Shakur's like, "What's up? I beat Jamel. I got the belt that you want. Let's fight." And now they saying, "Oh, Valdez want to fight Navarrete." And you know, I like Navarrete. Navarrete is a good fighter, but he's a good fighter at 126. No, he was at 122. He had that great victory over Isaac Dogbo at 122, and they moved up to 126. And he was always a really big 122. But now Valdez said he want to fight him, and you know, Top Rank trying to put that together as the Mexican showdown at 130. But come on now. Everybody, we know what the fight to make, and you can't run for too much longer because the world knows it. It was on ESPN. 1.3 million people saw that fight. I mean, and we know who's the best at 130, and you can't run for too much longer.
So I mean, where do you see his next? I mean, he has so many other possibilities because he's got a, you know, you can tell he can go up weight if he wants to, and he can do it comfortably. And I think he can take things with him, power with him, everything with him, up it. Man,
I told you last year. I told you 2 years ago. When they fight, Shakur Stevenson will beat Gervonta Tank Davis. It will happen. Shakur Stevenson is going to beat Tank when they fight. It might be next year. It might be 2 years from now. It might be 3 years from now. But whenever it happens, Shakur Stevenson is going to win that fight. And
that's going to be a big money fight because neither one of them are scared.
Yeah, it's going to be a big money fight. They're going to talk. You know, it's going to be heated. It's going to be heated. I like that fight. But another really good fight is Loma. Lomachenko, if Shakur can move up, Lomachenko can move now. Either way they can make it happen. I think that's going to be an excellent fight. It's going to be a showdown of two very skilled, very technical fighters. They sparred together in the past, and it's a different Shakur Stevenson. They sparred like 2 or 3 years ago, but now I'm telling you, Shakur Stevenson's a different fighter now than he was 3 years ago. He's grown into his man body. He's gotten a lot stronger, and he's got more mature. I mean, he's got more experience than he did 3 years ago, and that's going to be a very exciting fight if it happens. And Loma's a guy. I don't think Loma's not a guy that's going to shy away. If Shakur says he wants that fight, I believe Loma will fight him.
Well, I'll tell you one thing is you know, these you know, press conferences and these hype that people go up with, you know, now we got Canelo slapping Plant. You know what I mean? Is Canelo slapping folks? Like what I mean is
that was a few weeks. That happened a few weeks ago. Maybe a month ago.
But now that you know it's heating up, that kind of got the words heating up, even got things ramped up. And Plant don't seem like the kind of guy you want to slap. Like he's like you take my quietness for niceness kind of guy, and he don't seem like somebody you just gonna pump. I don't know. When I look at him, it's like, okay, now you don't taking this to another level. It's one of those things where it feels like let sleeping dogs lie. Maybe I'm looking at him differently, but he's always a cat. I'm looking at him like, you know, I think people underestimate how good this guy could be, and I think competition will bring out some greatness in him in ways that you might not expect. You know, obviously Canelo is a great fighter. Like we're not even gonna mess with that, you know. But the Plant, one of them kind of cats is kind of sitting the cut that people just kind of overlook, and like real boxing people might know that, okay, this guy can really fight. But it's going to be interesting. That fight's coming up with about a week or on the 6th or something like that. Yep. You know, how are you seeing that? I mean, what's the street saying? What's the block saying? What's the people in the boxing world saying?
Well, with that, Canelo pushed him.
Yeah.
And then Plant tried to swing on him, and then Canelo Canelo he ducked that punch so fast, man. Canelo's reflexes is something else.
Yep.
Like that showed me something
Yeah, that's
on both sides, because it showed me that Can Canelo was worried about Plant. I think
Yep.
Canelo he doesn't usually act like that. Caleb Plant got him out of character, but then after Caleb Plant tried to swing on him, Canelo's reflexes is something else, and that was weeks out of the fight, weeks away from the fight, and now he's gotten more into training. We're close to the fight, so he's been obviously training more. Even though Canelo's a guy, he's in the gym all the time. I mean, but just the level of skill, I think I'm picking Canelo in this fight. I know, it might be a little early to do the predictions, but I'm picking Canelo because how does Caleb Plant? I think Caleb Plant felt the pressure that Canelo's going to put on him inside the ring. As far as he knows how to cut the ring off, he knows how to apply pressure, and it's not just a regular, like he's not a regular just a straight up slugger. He's not a guy that like a Ricardo Mayorga, a guy who's going to come up there and just throw any kind of punches, but he's a guy. He's an aggressive counter puncher, like kind of in the vein of Roberto Duran back in the day, in the vein of Julio Cesar Chavez, where he's pressing you, but he's moving his head, he's parrying shots away, he can slip, and you trying to counter, but he's making you miss and making you pay while you're going backwards. I mean, that's a hard thing to deal with, and unless you've been in there with a guy like Canelo, especially, I don't think Caleb Plant's been in with a guy that's that skilled. And one thing I told you a week or two ago, Caleb Plant sparred Sean Porter, and word on the street is Sean Porter gave him some hands, and I think that's a bad sign. I know the sparring is different from a real fight, but that's a bad sign. I know Porter can fight with guys that are bigger than him, because like Porter, if you don't know, if guys listening haven't been following Sean Porter for a long time, Sean Porter's a guy in the amateurs. He fought at 165. Like he fights at 147 now. He had to cut weight because he's a shorter guy, but him and he's only like an inch or two shorter than Canelo. He might only be an inch shorter than Canelo. Actually, I think Sean Porter's 5'6", and Canelo's probably like 5'7". But either way, Sean Porter's a guy in the amateurs. He fought Danny Jacobs. He beat Usyk. He beat Usyk when there was kids. I know there was kids, but still, that's the type he's used to fighting bigger dudes. So that could be interesting, because that's a good sparring to me. I think that's good sparring. That's a high level of competition in the gym. But even as good as Sean Porter is, and Sean Porter, he's another guy. He brings a lot of pressure, but he's not at the skill level that Canelo's at. And I think that could provide a difference in that.
Yeah, I think there's some times I watched a couple recent fights with Plant. There's times when he kind of pulls right back, and sometimes his chin is exposed, and he'll let himself get put on the ropes, and that's a place you don't want to be with Canelo. And there are times when I've watched him in fights where rather than he's got the ability to just spin out and has the athleticism get out, but he'll allow himself to stay on the ropes a little bit too long, and that's a habit he can't have against someone like Canelo. I watched a fight the other day. I was like, well, that's a habit, because if you don't quite tuck your chin, that's where you could get in trouble with Canelo really quick, because he'll see that, he'll set you up, he might not, he probably could do it in the first round, but he might do something to set you and get you comfortable in the first round and take you out in the third in ways that are like just next level, that Crawford type stuff. And so it's that's the one thing to get it, but also, I'm a big Creed 2 fan, and when he was trying to make that comeback after losing to Drago the first time, and he had to put his foot in, he had to be out there in the desert, and he had one foot in the little tire, he had to stay close, and early in those sparring sessions he was losing, but by the end he started gaining. And something you learn about tough sparring sessions that can help you in real fights. So when you bring somebody in, like that, who's going to be physical and beat you up and everything. It allows you to get used to that the jostling and the physicalness that will come with fighting Canelo as well. And so I wonder, how that might help. But yeah, everything you said, I think makes sense. And obviously we'll on the boxing moment get into some predictions as well. Hey man, this has been good. I know we had a lot on here. I know I got to transition out and get to one of my games here.
One thing. Did you hear what Canelo said about Ryan Garcia?
Oh, something about you sent a message about he's too early or not ready or something.
No, he said he's wasting his talent. He said he's not 100% dedicated. I was like, oh man. What's going on in the gym? I said, what's going on in that gym? You got Oscar Valdez testing positive. You got Canelo look like he worried. you got Ryan Garcia. They saying they got the big brother shooting shots at Ryan Garcia, saying he wasting the talent. He not all the way there.
But Floyd has said that with some of his young proteges as well. He had to, about being serious, right? And so that's that generation speaking up in some ways. I don't know if I lost you on the connection, but yeah, we'll have to keep watch that because Ryan is kind of that guy that's been what would I say? He's been feeling good about the the stardom and the Hollywoodness of his celebrity, and so he's definitely been someone who is taking a lot of pride in how he's being perceived on IG and everything else. So it's always good here. We're glad to have y'all here with us on the block. It's always great to do it. If you have a chance, please go to realsportsguys.com. Check it out. You want to thank my boy Hammer, our co-host from One Mic, for jumping us live from Camp Randall. It's we got a lot going on, and I'm about to get out of here and go and check out my alma mater, Beloit College, and their volleyball team. They're going up against the rivals Ripon, and so we're all over. We're Division III volleyball women's. We're at Camp Randall. We're checking out what's happened with Michigan State and everything else. So just good to be able to be around sports and watching people, realize their dreams. And so thank you again for being with us. Until next time, we will see you on the next edition of The Block.